The acclimation ramp-up period is over and true training camp is here. And the great news is that Tim Patrick is still alive and well and has not been injured. The bad news is that a player we were planning on stepping in and filling in a big void left the field with a hamstring injury and did not return to practice today. We're going to break that down, a ton more in this video. If you're new to this channel, I'm Ben. I'm a diehard Denver Broncos fan, and we're going to break down the best of day 3 in Denver Broncos training camp. Technically day 1. First 2 days were just days of acclimation, ramp up. Nobody got hurt across the NFL. Tons of dudes dropping all over the place. We covered that yesterday. And the good part is that Sean Payton, in his first year in Denver, took one of the most injured teams in the league, and we got very healthy, and we had our starting offensive line all the way through the season until those last 2 games when we lost Powers, and he said that if we were in the playoffs, he would have played through. And so that is just a striking difference. And so we need that injury luck to continue if we want to beat the Vegas predictions that we are only going to win 4 games this upcoming season. And we're not off to a great start, although the alarms are not yet sounding. But one of the players we all were very, very hopeful for was, we know we lost Justin Simmons this year because we had to eat all of that dead cap money from Russell Wilson, and so one of the cap casualties was moving on from Simmons, who is still a free agent, who we still could call, which you're seeing tons of people on Twitter immediately saying, go out and call Justin Simmons and bring him back. We know that we had really high hopes for Brandon Jones, a Texas grad who played with PJ Locke, and we got that Texas brotherhood, and he is really supposed to be a core part of this youth movement that Sean Payton is so excited about in his time with the Miami Dolphins from week 12 all the way through the playoffs. He was one of the best ranked safeties in the entire NFL, and players or quarterbacks thrown against him had a less than 40% passer rating, which is just insane. So we were very much hopeful for him to step into that Justin Simmons role and not miss much on the field. Obviously, he'll never equal what Justin Simmons did off the field, but very hopeful for that. So that's something we're going to need to monitor, especially because the other person we all were crazy excited about was Caden Stearns. And Caden Stearns is on the PUP list, and Sean Payton did not hedge whatsoever yesterday when he said that Caden Stearns has a long road ahead of him, which had a lot of people speculating that he might not play whatsoever this year. And so you're now down 2 safeties. Obviously, we don't know the full extent of the hamstring issue, and so that really does raise the question, is safety a position we want to go out and try to get off of another 53 that when a player gets cut, is that we're number 12 on the waiver wire? Are we going to try to find a safety who doesn't make another squad, or does it truly warrant going out and trying to get Justin Simmons here? I think all of it depends on what his real long-term health ramifications are, because we definitely need him. There are still a ton of high hopes for JL Skinner and what he could be, but he just has not shown any flashes. But one of the big additions the Broncos made this year was bringing in Jim Leonhard, who truly could be a head coach in football, and a lot of places interviewed him to be a defensive coordinator, and he took a much diminished role to come and join Sean Payton and Vance Joseph, and there's going to be a lot of versatility for how these safeties are used and how corners are used and all of that, but we know that the safety position, because we lost Justin Simmons, we really need to have somebody there. So the question I want to throw out in the chat is it worth making the call to Justin Simmons, or do you think we let it ride with PJ Locke and JL Skinner and hope for the best? That's a position that truly, I think that could change how I feel about this defense. Let's look at some other big news from training camp day 3. Big news is defense is starting to show some incredible flashes. We're hearing that Zach Allen looks like a man on a mission, and multiple times he's in the backfield and they're blowing the play dead, and he's just blowing dudes up, which could hopefully is a sign that he's a beast and not a sign that our gamble at center there with Wattenberg and Forsyth gambling there are leaving gaps there. We know Vance Joseph is changing how that defensive front is playing, and we are seeing it just in day 1 of open training camp there, that the defensive line looks ridiculous. And one of the really interesting things is seeing a player who I wasn't even sure was going to make this team is really starting to show flashes. We know that we have a absolute platoon of guys on the outside, and we're going to have waves upon waves of pass rusher at that outside linebacker position. Knowing that we have Jonah Ellis, who people are crazy high on, drafting him as a rookie. People had him way higher than we got him. Baron Browning, I think, is going to lead this team and eclipse the 10 sack mark. Jonathan Cooper is a stud. Nick Benito, people are just raving about. Well, I thought, hey, there's no way we're going to be able to carry all these guys. And it looks like Thomas Incoom, who was from the MAC and played for Western Michigan, or Central Michigan, rather, and his senior year, his last year there, he had 11 sacks in the MAC and just looks like an absolute freak athlete type of dude who's, kind of built like DeMarcus Ware in the fact that his arms are insanely long for his body. And so if all of a sudden he's in there, like, watch out, because our pass rush is going to be filthy, and that has me very, very excited. Other thing that we're hearing is that Michael Bandy, another player who I did not think was going to make this team because our wide receiver room is all of a sudden insanely deep. He was a late add last year, number 83. When I look at him, because he's a smaller white dude and he's wearing the same number, he's built like a Wes Welker, Brandon Stokely type player in that slot, and he was played for the Los Angeles Chargers for a hot second. And multiple beat reporters who are there are just saying he's always open and he's catching everything, which could be like a crazy exciting thing. Just seeing him, just like his route running ability here on this play right here, just that ability, like even against a good Rams team, they're just carving it up, and could be a lot of cool stuff there. Seeing him here play back in. This is when he was playing for the Conquerors, so kind of arena type football here, but very always open, always making the catch, a lot to be hopeful there. And so you're now, we're truly, like I've said multiple times on this channel, we are at a place where we are going to have guys who are cut from the squad who make other squads. So with Incoom on that roster bubble and Bandy on that roster bubble, both guys who are flashing, could be a really, really exciting thing. To have talent leave this team and join up on another team is fantastic. Had all of the vibes as well with Bo Nix, just looked good in camp. It looked like Zach Wilson did get the starting reps. We had wondered yesterday, based on a couple of comments Sean Payton made, if he would abandon that 3 quarterback competition there and just say, hey, we're down to our final 2 horses. But it does look indeed like Zach Wilson's name is still in the mix, although the fan favorite, and Sean Payton was asked about this, the fan favorite is certainly Bo Nix, who went out to just like a roar of the crowd. And then just last thing I saw this and absolutely loved it. Tonight we're going to see Peyton Manning on the Olympic opening games. And just like, this is just Peyton being classic Peyton. Here he is calling with Mike Tirico. And there he is. Like he's got his wristband with every single country on that wristband, so he doesn't forget any of them. Oh, that's our guy right there, Peyton Manning. So let me know what you think. Is it time to call Justin Simmons? Do you trust the squad that we have? Either way, we are going to be here for all of it, and we have a ton to believe in.